Yo, what's going on, man? We live at the Dope Air store. My name is Mistah Fab, and you tuned in to Base Media. You hear me? The name of Mistah Fab comes from the acronym Money is something to always have. That's MISTAH. And Fab stands for Forever After Bread. So money is something to always have, and just stay forever after bread. It's the hustler's anthem. So Mistah Fab is a little bit of Mistah Fab in everyone. I started writing earlier in my age, about 11, 12 years old. I started writing poems. My dad was diagnosed with HIV, and at that time it had hit me at, we really just didn't know, people didn't really know the logistics of what AIDS actually was. You heard so many different things about it, and the only person that we had knew about it was like Eazy-E, you know what I'm saying, in the inner black culture for my generation, like, you know what I'm saying, in the hood basically. We hadn't heard about it, so it struck me at an age where I was confused, I was sad, I was worried, and I would contemplate several different thoughts of just trying to figure out what it was, trying to curate some idea of what it actually was. And I began writing. Small poems, haikus, soliloquies of my whole ideologies of everything what was going on in my mind at 11 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old for a child. And I just began to write it, and I fell in love with writing. I developed a passion with words, and years later those words have taken me all around the world and created a career for me. So it's a beautiful thing. Sean is it's a different guy. It's a little cuz. He's working. I'm proud of him. Continuing to keep growing. He's getting into some heavy real estate stuff now, and buying up a lot of the property in the community, which is dope. Some of the spots that we grew up going to, he's actually looking to buy them and purchasing things now, which is so dope. He's so much more than football. He was actually here last night, and he came in. We just talked about some things that we had going on and what we was working on, some of our plans and what we plan on doing to continue to keep moving forward. And just a great guy overall. I'm glad that what he's done for the community and what he's doing, how he continues to progress and lead by example, definitely sets the tone. Develop this passion with these words, man. You just want to see what can you do with these words, So when I started freestyling and rapping and things like that, like, how can I describe something that everyone knows and everyone can identify with, but describe it differently? And it's just about words, When you look at certain artists, the artists that you've learned to be passionate about or become, quote unquote, your favorite artist, is the way that they're so descriptive with words. And we can go from the beginning of time of hip hop times, with from the Furious Five to Rakim to what Jay-Z was doing to Tupac to Nas to Eminem, and to when we look at current times, even when we look at someone like Mozzie was able to describe the same hood stuff that everybody else talks about, but he has such a profound vocabulary that he's able to describe things differently, and he's put some of the most difficult settings in layman's terms, and people can understand them, and that's the beauty of his wordplay. It's dope. So that's why I began to get involved with stuff like that. I love building and working with creators, dope creators, You definitely have your favorites when you're in there, when you're working with certain people and certain individuals, because of the energy that it brings out. I always love working with Snoop Dogg. We always create some dope stuff. I love Too Short. Too Short is like my guru. He always helps me look at things from a different perspective, and he understands the science. He knows the science of music, and the chi that he brings to the studio every time is just so beautiful. It's fruitful, and someone who's done it for so long, his wisdom is a GPS system for any artist if they want to get to that road, get to the top. So I love working with him, but I love just working with creators, man, people that's dope, and we can all come in there and build together. Dope Air is the clothing line, the ideas. Me and my brothers just playing around one day, just catting off on some ideas, and the term Dope Air is something that was already it was actually a real era in our times, and the dope era became populated by during the Reagan era in the 80s, when drugs were flooded and a lot of inner city communities in America was going through this crisis. It was called a war on drugs. They was trying to stop drugs from infiltrating basically their homes. When it hit the ghettos and the inner cities, it was not a problem. Drugs only became a problem when these rich white cities start getting on it, and now the rich cities is, they kids, and now they children and they parents start becoming addicted to it. Then it became a problem. The only era in the dope era was the dope. Everything else was beautiful about it. People socialized with each other. They got money together. They networked. They built together. They talked. They spoke. Ideas was brilliant, amazing. To watch the churning of society and technology turn into where it is now. And we just rekindled that through fashion, and refurbishing those ideas and taking it to another level is what we plan to do, continuing to keep growing. We're in our 5th year right now, and things are going pretty good, but I have higher expectations, and we take it day by day and step by step, and hopefully continue to keep building and lead by example of how to do things from a natural, grassroots, organic way of doing things. And that's the beauty of the dope era, where people got a chance to see us build this, and they're watching it before their eyes, and it's very motivational and inspiring. And I've heard several people say that they aspire to do things of what we have done, and I'm humbled by that, because we were just pushing an idea, man. Who never thought that 5 years later we would still be with it. New projects, more projects coming. Like you alluded to, I have a project called Thug Tears, which is a very emotional project for me. It's something that's one of the first times that I've just constantly just poured out everything, every skeleton in my closet that I've gave out. I put it in music, and I put it in these 18 songs. It's called Thug Tears, and it's just basically me at this point. But it's not sobbing over the tears and negative. They're actually tears of joy. They're saying, I deserve these tears. I've cried for these, and I've earned these tears. I've earned these tears because I've earned the platform that it has presented to me to continue to move forward from these tears. Sometimes in life we use the adversity that we've gone through as motivation to keep moving forward. Then there's other times that some people use that adversity and it puts up blocks and obstacles, and they can't get beyond them. They can't pass them because they constantly looking at the obstacles in front of them. What I've done with this project and my life in general is I've took all of the blocks that people have thrown at me, and I've built with them. I've took all of the knives that people have stabbed me in the back with, and I've carved out a lane for myself. And the carving of that lane is just this music and this passion and everything that we represent. So every time that I've taken a loss, or I looked at it as a lesson and I learned the lesson from it, and I extracted the lesson from that loss, and it became helpful to me. So I deserve those tears. I deserve the times where it was hard and everything that we go through. If you win so much, you have to take some losses, because they're humbling. They allow you to look at what you overlooked. Losses allow you to look at what you overlooked, because evidently you overlooked something. It forced you to lose. I was talking to one of your homeboys, and I wanted to elaborate on it. Is when people look at the views of videos and they look at things like that, the scoreboard can be tricky. When you play in the game and you look up at the scoreboard and you up by 50, you like, yo, we're killing these fools. You start playing around. You start shooting shots from half court. You get lazy. You get so confident and so cocky that you stop playing your game. You look back up at the scoreboard, you down 5. You're like, damn, they came back like that? You look back up, you down 15. Now mentally, you feel like, oh, damn, we got to get back. So now you start shooting an excessive number of threes, and you start fouling, because now it's over aggressive. Now you either gonna foul out the game, or you lost the game, because when you up, it never seemed like you could go down. When you down, it never seemed like you could get up again. That's why you gotta ignore the scoreboard. I didn't know I was winning. I just was playing the game. I didn't care who was winning, actually. I was enjoying playing the game, trying to look at what I was overlooking, working on everything that I wasn't good at, being good at what I'm good at. And that's how you play the game. You keep building, keep going, keep pushing. Because what's overlooked will eventually be back and be reviewed. So if you're only getting 10, 20 views or 1,000 views or 100 views now. Eventually, once you get to the road that you envision yourself at being, they're going to go back and look at all that. So them views going to go up. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.